Hi, and welcome to another video tutorial. Today we're looking at the second variant 224 May June 2025, and we'll be doing the document reduction for this tutorial. So we go straight to question 1. So for our evidence, we are supposed to open evidence RTF and then make sure we have center number, candidate number on every page of the document, and we're going to save this as evidence, and that's it. So we go straight to that and open. And so that is evidence. Just double click to open. So in here, we're going to insert in the header our name, center number. So we choose blank 3 columns. In here, I put in my name, full name, of course. And then you put in here your center number. Your candidate number, and then followed by the center number. All right, and we're going to save this in our evidence file, our working area. So that's my working area, and change this to document format, and we supposed to save this as evidence followed by our candidate number. So that is it for tax 1. Close the header, and so that is it for tax 1. So now we move on to tax 2, which is a document. We are going to open marathons and apply some corporate house style to this here. So we're going to open marathon RTF, this here. So that is marathon. Just double click to open it. So that is it for that. And we're not going to change anything for the page setter. And then we have 4 paragraph style have been created, and we are not making any changes to this unless instructed. So we're going to save this file here as marathon, and then make sure it's in the format of the document in the software we're using. So we're going to change this to marathon, so save as, and again in our working area we change this as marathon and change this to Word document and click on save. So that has been done. So we're going to place an evidence. So we're going to take screenshots to show that we've saved this and make sure we have the file type. So we go in here. So that's marathon, and that is the document type. So we do Windows Shift S and take a screenshot of just this here. That's what we're interested in. And that should be our first evidence for step 1. So done. And now to question 2. So question 2, we're going to place in our header here, place in the header the marathon document, your name, center number, and candidate number, right align, and in the footer automated page number. So here we're going to insert in the header and footer. So 3 here, our name, space, candidate number, and center number, because I mentioned that everything needs to be right aligned. So we take off the placeholders and then go to footer and at the right align. So again, we choose here to be sure it's right aligned. So it mentioned that it should be right aligned. So what we've done up here is not correct. Cut this and correct that. So it needs to be here, and this placeholders, this up here. So that is right align, and the here we'll have the page number also right align. So current position, that's it. So these placeholders are not needed. All right. So that is it for the header and footer. Um, so placing automated number as well. We've done that. All alignments to the padding. Um, all the alignments match the page margins. We've done that. The header and footer are displayed on the more pages. So that is fine. So now we move to task 3. So it said at the start of the document on a new line, enter the title marathon information. So we're going to come in here on a new line. So we hit enter, so right there, hit enter, and then paste marathon information as has been done. And we're going to apply now the empty title style to what we just written. So we highlight this here and come to this here. So we've applied the title. Then to question 5, the name style body has already been done. So we're going to modify it to fit to this here. And so we go to here, that is empty body, right click and modify. So our interest here is that we're going to format two things, the font and then the paragraph. So the font style, we click on font style and check what we have here. So this name is still the same. Empty body is fine. Then the next one here is sans serif. So sans serif is Arial. So we're going to change this to Arial. Sans serif simply means without any style. So that has been selected as Arial. And then the next item has to be font size, which is 11. So we select 11. And then again, enhancement, it says none. So this here is a font style. So there's no enhancement. So we select regular. All right. So enhancement has to be bold, italic. So there's none. So it's regular. And so um, the next thing we're going to do is here, which is alignment. It says justify. So in here, the we don't have it right here. Okay, so we have fonts, the color. So we click on OK. Then we go now here to again and go to paragraphs. So under paragraph, we see alignment. So alignment here needs to be justified. And the line spacing before and after is 1.5, 0 before and after. So here we're going to change this to 0. And line spacing here is 1.5. So that is it. We click on OK. And that is it for this. Take a screenshot evidence to show we've modified the body. So here we're going to take a screenshot of this. And that will be our next evidence. Okay. Right. So that's evidence 2. And we move on to question 6. So question 6, we have to locate the table and delete the contents in the header rating. So we're going to locate the column that has the heading rating. So here we go through here, then this is our table. And this here is what we're interested in. This column here needs to be deleted. So deleted. So that's been done. The next thing is question 7. Format the left column of the table so that it looks like the left column here. So we're going to, so this here has a white grid, and then the text is white and it has a black fill. So we're going to do just that. So we select this column, come to layout, and we merge and come to text direction. So direction is fine. Now we come to center align. That. And then we finally going to go to the text, select white, and change the fill to black. All right, so that has been formatted to what the question require. Next, it says we should format the column to have a width of 1.5 centimeters. So here we go in here. This is the width still being selected, right? We come to again the table layout. We can just change the width here to 1.5, but we use the option here, come to the drop down and then select column. So the width here is 1.5 and we'll click on OK. So that is 1.5 has been done. So we are going to take a screenshot to show that we've changed the width to 1.5. So here we can see right there that's changed to 1.5. So right here, that's a column. So we take a screenshot of this. Right? And we place that as our evidence. So that is step 8. Make it a bit bolder. Right? So that is it for the column 1.5. Then we see what is to be done again. Step 9. So we're going to look for the subheading history and all the way to their best performance. So here we search for history. So we can use Control F or we look for this here. So we looking for the word history and we want to end at their best performance. So again, we're going to look for that. So their best performance is here. So it means from here all the way to history needs to be selected. And the next says that change the layout so that this is displayed in 2 columns with 1 centimeter spacing between the columns. So we're going to go to layout, columns, we come to more, select 2, and spacing needs to be 1, and we click on OK. So that has been done. Right. So then we go to question 10. Import the image history and place it at the paragraph beginning. The legend has it that, so that will be located again. So here we interested in the start point. So here the legend has it that the image needs to be here. So we go to insert picture, this device, and pick up the image from a working area. So this here, so inserted as required. And we have to reflect the image so that the man faces left. So here we click on the image and come to rotate, horizontal flip. And so the man is now facing left. 10 is done. Now we looking at, now we are doing question 11. So now 11 says that format the image so that the width is 3 centimeters with aspect ratio maintained, and then it is aligned to the right column, and then we have to wrap it. So here, first of all, we're going to resize this here. So click on the bottom here. So aspect ratio lock, the width is 3 centimeters, and we click on OK. We have to text wrap this. So here, text wrap, we will select square, and it's going to be aligned to the right. So we drag this slowly to the right. And once we see the green guideline, that is it. we done. So the green line is a guide, is a smart guide to show you we are on the right column, the edge. Okay. So that has been done. And we've done the test wrap. So we are done with 11. We now move to question 12 and almost done. So apply the table style empty table 2, column 2 and 3 of the table. So we're going to first of all select the table right here. So this is column 2 and 3. And so we go to body here, empty table. And so that has been applied. So let's see. So make sure all the text of each row display on one line. And then we're going to have 1 point black internal external grid line when printed. The table border and all data fit into the column width and the 6 point after. So um, everything lies on one line, so that is fine. So the next thing to do is to give the table internal and external grid line. So we come to this option here, go to borders. And so here the grid line should be 1 point for both internal and external. So that is all. So here, when you click on all, that is it. And you click on OK. So that's 1 point for both internal and external. The last thing we're going to do is that the table needs to be 6 points. There should be 6 points after that. So we're going to paragraph and click on before 6 and click on OK. So that's a 6 points right after the table. So that has been done. And finally, we're going to do a spell check. So spell check and proofread the document and make sure the table is not split over over columns or pages, and there are no windows and orphans and no blank pages. Original style is maintained and spacing is consistent between all items. Okay, so first we're going to do the spell check. We're going to review and we click on spelling and grammar. So here it points out where that needs to be changed. So there should be inspiration. So we click to accept, accommodate, click to accept. And here it said there should be a comma after runners. And the next is just about my name. So ignore once. And we are done with the first one, which is the proofread for text error. Sorry. So we proofread for error. So that has been done. The next one is that table is not split over columns. So here our table is fine. It's in one place. So we don't have an issue with that. So no widows or orphans. So we have to go through the um to see whether there are any widow or orphans. So here we find all right. So this looks good. So often we have widow and orphans if we have a test starting on one line, a sentence starting on one line and doesn't end. So for example, this sentence starts here and it ends somewhere there. So we're going to move that down. So here we have two ways to do this here. We can go to the layout and come to the break, and then we have to move it to the next one. So we click on column, right? So click on that, or you double hit the enter key to send it to the next page. And again, here we have H. So we're going to send this down right there. And now everything looks okay. Here, clubs doesn't end on the same line. So I'm going to send this again to the next column. So again, I go to the breaks and come to column with my cursor just in front of clubs. I go to break and hit on column. So it sends it to the next column. And once that is done, we have ended all we do and often. So this looks okay. Every sentence ends on one line. So that is fine. Okay. So we've resolved the issue of widow and orphans. Now there are no blank pages. So if we look through our document, this is 2 page. There's no blank page here. And then finally, the original style is maintained and spacings are consistent. So to check for consistency for spacing, we go to home and click on the hide and show button here and see if there's consistency. So this here tells us whether there's any consistency if we look through and there are two anywhere which is not consistent with the rest, then it tells us there's an issue. So here we don't seem to have any issue with spacing, so that is equally fine. And finally, we save this with the same name and format for this and then print out the document. So all we need to do now is just to click on the save button, and that is it for the Word document. Okay, so this brings us to the end of this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we'll be looking at the database, and so stay tuned. I encourage you to share this video and like it. All right, so we meet again. Bye bye.